So, good morning, everyone. So, last meeting, I've discussed the feeds and feeding of the different classes um, of the different classes of swine. So, um, from the day it was born, so the suckling pig up to the growing phase, up to the finishing part, and then I've also discussed the feeding management uh, for the breeding part, for the breeders, the bull and the boar and the sow, as well as the gestating and farrowing part. So for this lecture, I will be discussing about the housing and equipment. So ano nga ba yung mga kailangan nating materials sa pagbubuo ng housing? Ano nga ba yung mga floor space requirement nila for the different class? Since magkakaiba yan ng sizes. So from like a grower pig is smaller than a finishing pig. Same with a gilt is smaller than a sow. So, magkakaiba yan ng space requirement on their cages. So, we will going to talk about that. So, let's first discuss the building orientation and calling system na tinatawag um, for the housing of the swine. So, for the building orientation at saka yung calling system, pwede ito yung parang neglected part on the um, sa pagmamanage, lalong-lalo na sa housing management since um, tinitake for granted yung building orientation. So, the building orientation needs to be, the long axis of the building must be laid in an east-west direction. So, dapat yung pahaba ng building, yung long axis ng building dapat nasa east-west direction. So, ginagawa ito in order to protect the animal from direct sunlight. So, yun yung ginagawa. Kasi if you orient this in a north-south direction, yung sun, it will pupunta lahat yun doon sa loob ng building, which could raise the temperature inside the building, and then the swine can experience heat stress pag ganun, pag north-south. So imagine niyo na lang itong picture na to. This is oriented in an east-west direction. So makikita na yung sunlight since yung sun rises from east to west. Makikita dito na pag nag-rise yung sun, yung lang maiinitan na part is dito sa part na to. So, hindi maiinitan ito sa loob. Hindi papasok yung sunlight doon sa loob. Hindi lahat ng sunlight ay makakapasok doon sa loob. Same when the sun sets in the west. So, hindi maiinitan ngayon yung building since it is oriented in an east-west direction. Pero pag itong building na to, it is oriented in a northwest direction. Lahat ng sinag ng araw, if it rises for the day, pag sumikat yung araw, lahat ng sinag na yun, pupunta lahat doon sa loob ng building, which is ayaw natin, although yung sunlight is also important, ayaw natin na masyadong mainit doon sa loob ng building. So, this will raise the temperature inside the building, and it will affect yung productivity ng mga animals. Since if it will raise yung temperature inside the building, the swines can experience heat stress, And heat stress can decrease the feed intake of the animal. So um, talagang ma-decrease yung productivity nila. So yun yung kailangan mong munang yung kailangan mong information muna that you need to um, orient your building kung magpapatayo ka ng building for swine, dapat nasa east-west direction. Actually, hindi lang for swine lahat na ng mga animals, mga farm animals, kung magpapatayo ka ng building, dapat nasa east-west direction. And then, air temperature, air velocity, floor insulation, infrared radiation, and relative humidity will determine the thermal environment around the animal. Hence, should also be considered. So, hindi lang yung orientation ng building, hindi lang yung sunlight yung kailangan na isaalang-alang when it comes to yung pagpapatayo ng building. So, kailangan rin ng saalang-alang mo yung air temperature, air velocity, yung floor insulation, infrared radiation, and relative humidity. So, all of this parang umiikot doon sa temperature lahat. So, kailangan na tignan mo lahat yung mga factors that can affect yung temperature mo. So, this is where you install yung mga cooling system. So, if you have the budget, may mga cooling system na pwede mo i-install doon sa building in order to somewhat control yung temperature inside the building. So, one of the popular one is yung ventilation. So, yun yung ginagawa mostly. So, to offset the ill effects of high temperature, cooling system may be provided. So, majority kasi ng mga pig houses dito sa country, they only allow a slow air velocity inside their building. So, most of pag hindi talaga mga big branches, ay mga big farms, they cannot afford to install yung mga ventilations, yung mga ventilation fan, yung mga tunnel vent na tinatawag. So, ang kalalabasan ngayon is slow lang yung hangin na pumapasok doon sa inside the building. So, in order para ma-decrease yung temperature since lalong-lalo na dito sa Pilipinas since it is a tropical country kahit nasa mga October, November, December na mainit pa rin. So, kailangan talaga ng cooling system. So, mga blower fan with flexible ducts to achieve better air distribution may be installed. So, kailangan yon. Mga ventilation fans na tinatawag. So, another approach is to install a sprinkle nozzle system. So, either on the roof or inside the building. So, yun. So, for mga big farms, they could afford to install itong sprinkle nozzle system na tinatawag, which decreases the temperature inside the building since cooling system na to parang dinidecrease niya yung air temperature since naglalabas ka ngayon ng parang mist, parang water vapor inside the building which decreases the air temperature. So, for the farms, for the ordinary farms, I think ang ginagawa lang is to umaasa na lang sa mga natural ventilation. So, if you cannot afford to install any mga ventilation fan, mga sprinkle nozzle system, a good ventilation on your house, your pig house should be made. So, kailangan, since aasa ka lang sa natural ventilation, kailangan may mga openings ka doon sa housing mo. Kailangan may mga malalaki kang openings, mga big holes inside your housing. Pwede rin yung mga chimney na tinatawag in order for air to circulate, in order for ventilation to happen. If you cannot afford yung mga mechanical ventilation or itong mga other cooling system na pwedeng gawin. Pero, if you have the money, then mas maganda na ito yung gagawin. Itong ventilation fans and then itong sprinkle nozzle system na tinatawag. So, let's take our attention to the roof of the housing ng mga swine natin. So, roof is equally important. It is an important part of the housing since yung roof yung nagpro-protect doon sa mga animals natin, doon sa mga sows, sa mga gilts natin, sa mga piglets natin against the environment. So, against yung direct sunlight, against the rain, against yung mga winds, mga ganun. So, the roof have a part on it. It protects the pigs. So, kailangan talaga na hindi kasi masasabi na yung building, hindi mo masasabing building yun if walang roof. Now, the roof must be designed to reduce the ambient heat load reaching the animal. So, kailangan na yung roof natin, it is designed in a way na naproprotektaan niya yung pagpasok ng high temperature doon sa loob ng housing, and then the roof must be designed to provide for an efficient removal of the animal's body heat. So kailangan na design rin in such a way na yung dinedissipate yung na-produce na body heat na nilalabas ng mga swine natin is lumalabas doon sa roof natin. Dapat may efficient removal ng animal's body heat sa pagde-design mo ng roof. So, there are many common roofing materials na pwede nating ilagay doon sa housing natin. Pero yung the most common roofing materials are made of the GI sheet na tinatawag, yung corrugated galvanized iron sheet. So, corrugated because of its shape. This is called corrugation. And then, galvanized iron kasi itong material na to. And then, you also have yung heat insulator. So, yung ginagawa is nilalagay yung roof and then nilalagay yung insulator. This is to insulate yung heat na pumapasok doon sa loob ng bahay, loob ng housing ng mga animal. So, lalong-lalo na if it is yung sunny na weather, yung medyo mainit, yung tirik yung araw, talagang iinit yung roofing natin, lalong-lalo na if you are using yung galvanized iron sheet, talagang iinit to. So in order para hindi pumasok yung init ng roof doon sa loob ng bahay ng mga animals, kailangan niya to, itong insulation, itong insulator. And at the same time, pag naman medyo malamig na yung panahon, itong insulator, it will keep the heat that are produced by the body of the animal inside the house. Para sa ganon, hindi lalabas yung init. So, yun yung ginagawa nitong heat insulator. So, the roof's outer surface must be light colored to efficiently reflect the sun's radiation. while the inner surface of the roof must be dark colored to minimize heat buildup inside the house. So, kailangan daw na yung outside, yung side ng roof na nasa labas, must be light colored. Since we know on our basic science that light color can reflect heat, can reflect sunlight uh, more efficiently compared to dark colored wherein they can absorb it. So, mas maganda na yung labas ng roof natin, yung side ng roof na nasa labas, it is light colored in order for it to reflect yung sunlight. While yung nasa, while the inner surface, yung side ng roof na nasa loob ng housing, must be dark colored. Bakit? Para ma-minimize yung heat build up inside the house. Kasi yung dark color na yon, it will absorb yung heat doon sa loob ng bahay. So, yun yung laging tatandaan. Basta pag mag-i-install ka ng any roofing, yung light colored side should be the one that is outside in order to reflect heat and sunlight. While yung dark colored side, it should be the one that is inside the house in order for it to absorb the heat that is building up inside the house. So, yun yung kailangan na tandaan. So, that's for the roof. Now, we'll go for partition walls and door gates. So, yung slatted partition walls made of round iron bars and GI pipes may be adapted. So, parang ganito. So, yung purpose for partition wall is to prevent fighting from other animals, lalong-lalo na if hindi talaga kasama ng mga pig yun. So, sa kasi may mga parang herd rin doon sa loob ng mga housing natin. May lalong-lalo na if it is for growing finishing. So, hindi mo pwedeng sabayin, lalong-lalo na if hindi yung bagong-bago na baboy doon sa mga old na piglets, yung tendency is aawayin. So, yung gagawin mo is you partition yung cages, partition the cages using mga slatted partition wall. Now, the other function of this is that it is to prevent yung mga boar, yung yung lalong-lalo na yung mga malalaking boar from fighting with each other, since alam naman natin na when it comes to boar, they have high testosterone and they may be aggressive. So, medyo aggressive sila. So, kailangan na naghihiwalay yan. So, the partition wall will serve as a parang barrier, will serve as a protection from each other para hindi sila mag-away-away. Same thing with boar and sow. Para walang magaganap na indiscriminate breeding, na walang magaganap na mga breeding na ayaw mo, yung gagawin mo is you put up the partition walls para yung boar hindi yung makakapunta doon sa sow. So, yun yung purpose ng partition wall. And then, for record keeping purposes na rin. Kasi if you put yung mga pigs doon sa isang cage, and then tinayuan mo ng partition wall, then you can easily identify na itong mga pigs na to, ganito yung age, since na-divide na yung mga cages using partition wall. So, mas easier ka na mag-record keeping. Instead, kung iisang cage lang lahat, isang malaking cage lang lahat, walang partition wall, then mahihirapan ka kung saan dito yung magkaka-age, kung saan dito yung mga grower, kung saan dito yung mga winners pa lang. So, kailangan talaga na may mga partition walls tayo. Then, it provides easy access to and from the pen. So, kung may partition wall ka with itong door gate. And then, yung door must be durable and provided with security tight locks. So, kailangan na durable rin yung mga gates natin. Yung partition wall, hindi lang naman mga iron bars and GI pipes yung pwede. So, as mga wood, pwede, yung mga indigenous materials na pwede nating makuha on our backyard, lalong-lalo na if you're just a backyard operator, pwede na yung mga partition walls that are made of wood. So, pwede na yun. As long as it is sturdy and durable at hindi madaling masira ng mga saw or bore. So, the most commonly used materials are ito nga, round iron bar, and then you have yung round block iron pipe, mga round GI pipe, square iron bar, flat bar, wood or bamboo. Pwede yung wood at saka bamboo as long as matibay, as it is sturdy. And then, pag bamboo yung ginagamit natin, we should make sure that it is not attacked by mga borers, mga bamboo borers na tinatawag, yung mga bukbok. Since this will decrease the integrity of the bamboo, pwedeng mag-break yung bamboo. Wala na yung strength ng bamboo if inatake ng mga insekto. So, kailangan na applyan natin ng mga parang oil. Nakalimutan ko kung ano yung mabibili na ganun. Pero may ina-apply doon sa mga bamboo in order for yung mga borers, mga insect borers, in order to prevent yung mga insect borers from eating and going inside the bamboo. So, yun. So, yun yung mga partition wall and door gates. So, in housing management, may mga housing system yan eh. So, for a small-scale operation, adopt the conventional or all-purpose housing system. So, yung housing system and facilities, it will depend kasi doon sa size and extent ng operation. So, pag maliit lang naman yung operation mo, then you can adapt yung conventional or all-purpose housing system na tinatawag. Itong all-purpose housing system, magpapatayo ka ng housing at from the moment na from piglet hanggang doon sa growing finishing wherein pwede mo na siyang ibenta, lahat ng yun, it takes place doon sa housing. So, doon lang siya maninirahan. Doon lang maninirahan yung piglet. Yung pig, from piglet hanggang sa ma-slaughter na siya. So, yun yung all-purpose housing system. So, yung system na to, it will combine several farm operation into one building. So, yun nga, isang building lang, nandun na yung suckling, finishing, growing, farrowing, and gestating operation. It will take place inside that building. Then, it can also accommodate itong mga non-pregnant and pregnant sows, gilts, and piglets. So, sa mga medium scale naman, at saka yung mga commercial farms, they may adopt the life cycle housing system. So, this system is designed to provide the animal with proper space requirements, maximize labor efficiency, and promote better biosecurity. So, when you are engaged, kung gusto mo talaga yung pang-commercial na pig farm, yung pwede mong housing system is yung life cycle housing system. So, ano nga ba itong life cycle housing system? So, every part ng life ng animal, meron kang kaakibat na housing for them. So, like for example, if it's a piglet, then may housing ka na are for piglets and their mothers. Yung tinatawag na farrowing and suckling unit. So parang ganun. So doon maninirahan yung mga piglets. And then after nila lumaki, mawiwin na sila, then pwede mo silang i-transfer doon sa winner unit, pwede doon sa grower unit, and then after lalaki, ita-transfer mo ulit sa isang house, which is yung finishing unit, mga ganon. And then, doon naman sa mga na-identify mo na breeders, then pwede sila doon sa breeding unit, breeding house, breeder house. And then yung mga breeders na nakuhanan na, yung may mga anak na, pero hindi pa lumalabas, then pwede mong silang i-transfer doon sa gestating unit, gestating house. And then, pag manganganak na sila, then i-transfer mo ulit doon sa farrowing and farrowing houses na mga ganun. So, basically, lahat ng life, yung every part ng life ng animal, from suckling hanggang sa finishing na siya, merong kaakibat na housing for them. So, yun yung life cycle housing system. So, this system is designed to, sabi nga, provide the animal with proper space requirement. Kasi, for every part of the life of the animal, from suckling hanggang sa growing, sa finishing, lahat yan may iba't ibang space requirement. So, yung advantage nitong housing system na ito, it is to provide, para makapag-provide ka ng proper space requirement doon sa animal. Kasi yung proper space requirement, it will reflect on the productivity of that animal. Since mas maganda yung space requirement, hindi masyadong overcrowded, mas comfortable yung animal, then mas efficient yung pagpapakain mo since hindi overcrowded, then it will increase, hindi magdi-decrease yung productivity niya. And then maximize labor efficiency since magkakahiwalay yan, so alam mo kung ano yung gagawin mo for this house, alam mo yung gagawin mo for this housing unit, and then alam mo yung gagawin mo for farrowing unit, gestating unit, so na-maximize yung labor efficiency. And then it promote better biosecurity kasi magkakahiwalay yan eh. Hindi sama-sama yung buong herd mo ng sow. Hindi sama-sama yung lahat ng suckling piglet, mga gestating, mga farrowing sow. Hindi sila sama-sama sa iisang housing lang. So, it can promote better biosecurity since you can pinaghihiwalay mo sila, and then you can implement yung biosecurity in each of the houses para mas safe sila. So the life cycle housing system is composed of the following units. So ito nga yung composition ng life cycle housing system na tinatawag. So you have yung pre-gestation and boar unit, you have yung gestation unit, you have yung farrowing and nursery unit, and then growing finishing unit. So let's first take a look on the pre-gestation and boar unit na tinatawag. So the breeding house must have sufficient space to accommodate mating activities. So kailangan in pre-gestation and boar unit, as the name implies, pre-gestation, wala pang nagaganap na, wala pang nabubuong embryo doon sa sow. And then, so kailangan na yung space requirement nila in this unit malawak to accommodate yung breeding nitong sow and boar. To accommodate yung mating activity na tinatawag. So, kailangan medyo malawak yung pen nila. Medyo malawak yung mga cages para kahit na aggressive yung boar, kahit na takbo-takbo sila doon sa loob ng cage. Uh, Mating can be may breeding pa rin na magaganap or successful pa rin yung breeding. So mating should take place in the boar's pen because of its labor and safety advantage. So mas maganda daw na yung yung sow yung ililipat mo or yung sow yung ilalapit mo doon sa bore. Yung sow yung papapuntahin mo doon sa pen ng pig ay ng bore. So yun yung pregestation and bore unit. So in pregestation and bore unit, you consider the following requirements. The air moisture level should be maintained at about 70%. So kailangan daw na yung relative humidity nasa 70%. Then approximately 16 to 18 hours of light should be maintained daily. So kailangan 16 to 18 hours dyan. And the facility should allow close supervision and easy access to the pen during mating. So kailangan na yung mga yung technician or yung worker doon sa farm, it can have easy access doon sa pen, doon sa mating unit para matulungan niya yung board, ma-assist niya if nagme-mate sila, and then para ma-supervise rin niya. Then boars should be housed individually to avoid injury due to the fighting and for better mating performance. So yun, kailangan na yung mga boar hindi lang nasa iisang pen. Just like what I've said, boars are aggressive. So mag-aaway yan. So kailangan na ihiwalay mo to avoid injury. At saka for better mating performance. Kasi tinutuon ngayon ng boar yung energy niya on mating, invest na dun sa pagkikipag-away. So kailangan they are housed individually. Then bedding materials such as sand, wood shavings, or rice straw may be used in cases of leg problems. So kung medyo may parang sakit doon sa leg ng mga breeders natin, you could put yung mga sand, wood shaving, or rice straw para mas soft yung flooring. Then, they may be kept in individual feeding lying stalls that are made of itong GL pipes, wood, round bars, concrete cement, and or black iron pipes, or they may be housed in group pens. So parang ganito, or pwedeng ganito yung pregestation and bore unit mo. So for the gestating unit, so when we say gestating, ito na yung may nade-develop na embryo doon sa sow. So after na successful breeding, then pwede mong ilipat yung breeder mo doon sa dito sa gestating unit. So how's recently bred and pregnant gids. So doon sila maninirahan. Itong mga pregnant gids and sow in individual stalls, pwedeng individual stalls parang ganyan. And then to prevent injury, para ma-prevent ang injury, feed competition, and unnecessary stress that may lead to failure in fertilization or abortion. So, kailangan na i-house mo in individual stalls. So, pero itong picture kasi na to, meron silang individual stall, pero pwede rin silang magipaghalubilo sa isa't isa. Pero, yung parang recommended talaga is to keep them in individual stalls. Kasi pag nasa individual stalls sila, yun nga, wala nang away na magaganap. So this will prevent injury. Pag walang away rin na magaganap dahil nasa individual stalls sila, so it will prevent or lessen pit competition, and then it can prevent also yung unnecessary stress. So for the farrowing unit, you can transfer pregnant animals to these units 1 week before the expected farrowing date. So from the gestating unit, uh, from the gestating unit, 1 week before na manganganak yung baboy, ita-transfer mo na ito dito sa farrowing unit. So, house the animals in elevated and slatted farrowing crates. So, nakakaangat doon sa flooring para yung ihi nila and yung tae nila pupunta doon sa baba for easier cleaning. And then it is slatted para doon pupunta, doon doon lalabas yung mga ihi and tae nung yung farrowing sow mo. So, usually the sow is confined between two tubular gates. Galvanized steel pipes and plastic flooring are commonly used for this purpose. So, parang ganito yung farrowing cages niya. Other materials such as wood, bamboo, and round bars may also be used. Use slatted floors to maintain hygiene. Yun. Para doon mag-out yung mga urine mo. The flooring can be constructed out of concrete, cement, round bars, T-bars, or trapezium iron bars, or yung plastic matting pwede. So, in farrowing units, always provide the farrowing crate with crypt area equipped with sufficient heat source. So, ito yung tinatawag na crypt area. Dito yung may heat lamp, may source of light kung saan doon pumupunta yung mga bagong panganak na piglet, yung mga hindi pa mga day 1 up to day 7 years old, yung hindi pa nila masyadong nire-regulate yung body temperature nila. So kailangan itong heat lamp kung saan doon sila magpapainit. So this is called the crypt area. So light bulb, ultraviolet lamps, or LPG-fired convection lamps are common sources of heat. So ito daw yung mga common sources of heat. Then for the common types of flooring for the crypt area are plastic-coated wire mesh, plastic and or metal flooring materials. So after that, you also have yung growing finishing unit wherein you adopt an all-in, all-out scheme per pen. So, when we say all-in, all-out, lahat ay papasok, sabay-sabay, and then lahat ay mai-slaughter, lahat ay mamamarket ng sabay-sabay. Yun yung all-in, all-out system. So, this will facilitate easier cleaning of the unit of the houses. So, animals can be housed in conventional pens with concrete floor and partition walls made of either concrete, round bars, or GI pipes na tinatawag. So here we have yung space requirement of building and equipment for swine. So you have here yung age and size of the animal, yung pen size niya, yung height of the door, feeder space, and the partition wall. So as you can see, iba-iba talaga yung space requirement for different ages and size of the animal. So, like for example, before farrowing yung sow, yung gilt and sow, yung pen ng gilt is 2, while yung 2 meters square, while yung sow is nasa 2.70 meters square. So, bakit nga ba? Kasi yung gilt mas bata compared to the sow. So, kung mas bata yung gilt, most probably mas maliit siya. So, kailangan mas maliit yung pen size dimension niya. Pero for the height of the door, nasa 1 meter pa rin. And then, ganun din sa feeder, mas maliit doon sa gilt compared doon sa saw. Nasa 45 to 50 centimeter yung saw, nasa 35 to 45 centimeter yung gilt. For the partition wall, ganun na rin, medyo mas matangkad. Pwede yung option na mas malaki, matangkad yung partition wall, nasa 1.50 meter square for the saw. So yun. Same with the other, same principle with the other classes ng mga swine natin. Basta pag mas bata and then mas bata, ang tendency is mas maliit siya. So mas maliit rin yung pen size dimension, yung feeder space, yung mga partition wall. So with that ends my video lecture on the housing management of swine. So I hope that you can go over it. Then thank you for listening.